catch me if I fall. Messi, I'll put you in a grid 6 feet like Kenny.
Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live on this Sunday. Another doubleheader of Premier League commentaries for you this afternoon, coming from the London Stadium and from Villa Park later this afternoon. But it's a London derby between West Ham and Arsenal to get us underway first. And this game just after Christmas wasn't one that Arsenal want to remember. West Ham, fond memories at the Emirates, not many have those this season, and Liverpool themselves will know more than others the last victims of an Arsenal attacking line. And they blew the title race open last week, Arsenal, and they will be aiming to build on that impressive victory over Liverpool last weekend here this weekend at the London Stadium in this London derby between West Ham and Arsenal. Arsenal have the chance to close the gap to the top and go above. Well, they could go above Man City if they score enough goals. They would need to score 6 goals this afternoon to do that, but they would get themselves back in touching distance of top place Liverpool, 2 points between them if Arsenal get the 3 points this afternoon. West Ham, on the other hand, well, they want to push themselves back up into the top 6. They can do that with 3 points against the Gunners this afternoon and beat them in all 3 games this season in all competitions, once in the Premier League and once in the League Cup. Could they do the league double over Arsenal for the first time since 2007? We'll see this afternoon. Kick-off from the London Stadium is in just a moment. Aston Villa and Manchester United is at 4:30. Let's have a look at the 2 teams then for this game. Let's start with West Ham, and Alphonse Areola starts in goal. A back 4, Vladimir Sofal, Kurt Zouma the captain, Naif Aguer and Emerson in a back 4 for West Ham. Alvarez, Soucek and Ward-Prowse make up the midfield. Ben Johnson, we think, is in a more attacking role, as we've seen him in that position in the last few weeks. Mohamed Kudus and Jared Bowen join him in the front line. Phillips, Ings, Cornet amongst the main players on the bench. Mavropanos also involved there too. For the Gunners, heading to East London, David Raya starts in goal for them. A back 4 of Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel and Jakub Kivior, who came on at half-time last week in the Liverpool game. A midfield of Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard the captain, and Kai Havertz drops into a more midfield role, where it looks like Leandro Trossard is in that false 9 role, alongside Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka, the wide players. Key absences again for Arsenal this afternoon. No Jesus, which is a big worry. No Jorginho in the starting 11, as Jorginho on the bench this afternoon. It's a worry for Arsenal. But Mikel Arteta will want his side to put in an equally good performance they did last week against Liverpool, here today against West Ham. Kick-off is next. Good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live on this Sunday afternoon. It is 2 huge games in very different circumstances. West Ham and Arsenal. West Ham looking for top 6. Arsenal looking to get themselves well back into the title race and push back towards winning Liverpool and winning Manchester City this weekend. Aston Villa later on, they will want to get it back into the top 4. And Manchester United, well, they need any sort of positivity at this moment in time, but they've been in good form as of late. Manchester United will watch them later this afternoon. 2 very exciting games on LFS this Sunday afternoon. As we're just getting ready for kick-off here at the London Stadium, both sides, Arsenal just came out of their huddle there. And the usual anthem from the London Stadium that is known so well, forever blowing bubbles, as always, passionately sung by these West Ham fans. Their team in claret and blue, of course, as always, in their home kit, and Arsenal in their away kit of that luminous yellow with black shorts. And we're about ready for kick-off at the London Stadium, where David Moyes wants his side to win 3 successive games against Arsenal and do a league double over Arsenal for the first time in 17 years. That will be their target this afternoon, West Ham. Arsenal's will be to get back in touching distance with the top 2 and certainly put the cat amongst the pigeons as to who will win the Premier League this season. It is unpredictable, and 3 teams very much still in that conversation. And we have a long way to go yet after this weekend. 14 games still to go. Man City, of course, 15 games still to go. Still a long way to deciding who will lift the Premier League at the end of this season. Here's Martin Odegaard trying to get Arsenal forward early and give them a bit of dominance, a bit of control in this game in the early stages. Gabriel. Saliba. Odegaard back to Gabriel. Odegaard. Ben White. Well, we know they've already lost on this ground this season. Arsenal in that League Cup earlier in November of last year. And that 3-1 victory for West Ham. Well, they've stolen the ball here. The Hammers. Here's Kudus. Edge of the box. Kivior on the cover. Kudus does well to recycle it. Gets it to Sofal. Sofal with a cross away by Rice. Of course, formerly of this parish. Yet to win against his old side in his new shirt colours. And here come Arsenal with Havertz. Trying to carry Arsenal forward. A bit end-to-end to start. Here's Saka. Down the right flank. Emerson on the cover. Ben Johnson dropping back to help out. Back to Odegaard now for Arsenal. Looking to drive through the middle and trying to link up with Trossard, but the ball just escapes Trossard and goes through to Alphonse Areola in the West Ham goal. As I was mentioning, Arsenal have already tasted defeat on this ground. Ben White own goal and Mohamed Kudus and Jared Bowen the goal scorers for West Ham on that day to give them a 3-1 victory in the League Cup over Arsenal in the 4th round. Don't have good luck in recent seasons at the 4th round of the Carabao Cup. The flag went up here against Jared Bowen, who'd made the run through, but when the flag was up right away, no hesitation from the assistant on that side. It's clear as day. He is miles offside there. Jared Bowen. Correct decision by the assistant. And of course, Arsenal, their last win here in the London Stadium, they failed to win on their last 2 trips to the London Stadium. Of course, getting a draw in the run-in last season, which kind of got that stumbling end to last season for Arsenal that really curtailed their title challenge. And one of those games was on this ground at the London Stadium, a 2-2 draw in April of last year. The last win at the London Stadium came in May of 2022 when they won by 2-1 on that occasion. The winner coming from Gabriel, the centre-backs. Actually, both centre-backs scored on that day. Rob Holding and Gabriel, the goal scorers, either side of a Jared Bowen goal. But that's Arsenal's only win at the London Stadium since back in 2019. So they don't have good records here on this ground. And that is one thing that West Ham will take a lot of kind of confidence in, that Arsenal really seem to stumble and struggle against West Ham at times. But here's Saka looking for the cross, getting the cross, but the flag actually went up against Bukayo Saka there. And an offside flag goes West Ham's way. Of course, David Moyes has been his team has been the master of that idea of allowing the opposition to have possession and to control and dominate the game, but be absolutely ruthless on counter-attack and opportunities. It's something that they've made their own, kind of. It's been a staple of West Ham's successes this season. is that ability to seemingly be down and out in games and hit teams on the break. Give the opposition that false sense of security that they're safe, that they're in the clear against West Ham, and they come and pounce on you and completely shock their opposition. Here's Kurt Zouma. Back to Aguerd, who has to go back to Areola as he was pressed by Odegaard there. Areola goes long, looking down the line. Nice header by Saliba, and then the touch from Kudus takes it out of play for an Arsenal throw. And we'll see if West Ham kind of adopt that similar kind of idea today that I mentioned there about that ability to sit back and to will they allow Arsenal to have the control of the possession? You would expect so. And we'll see how they deal with that, and also how West Ham counter that Arsenal attack. Here's Saka. Odegaard. Finding the spaces, looking for the ball in. Zouma with the firm clearance away. Saka heads it down, trying to get them on the attack again as Aguerd just scoops that one out for an Arsenal throw on the right hand side. When we talk about West Ham and where they are in the table, they yet to get a win this calendar year. Their last win was against Arsenal at the Emirates on the 28th of December. Since then, they've drawn 4 games and lost 2 in all competitions. Lost just 1 Premier League game though, 3 draws and 1 defeat in their 4 Premier League games since the turn of the year, and that coming at Old Trafford last week, where they were looking to do a league double over Manchester United for the first time in 17 years. Last week they failed to do that. They'll want to do that this afternoon, but it'll probably be even a tougher task today than it would have been against Manchester United last week. And look how that turned out last week. Here's Declan Rice, who knows this pitch very well. Captained West Ham for a year or two after Mark Noble's retirement, and was a key player in West Ham's successes, especially in their European success last season. He was the main man. Here's Saka, lifting it out to the left. Here's Gabriel Martinelli looking to chip it in, and the scorpion kick from Trossard was a bit wayward. Does go out for a corner though, took a deflection in the process, and Arsenal will get a corner. West Ham fans booing, some applauding, but some booing as well. Declan Rice as he goes over to take that corner for the Gunners. Of course, a lot of respect for Declan Rice, but of course still an important game for both teams. Right footed from Rice, back post, headed down and across, but straight into the hands of Areola, who got full contact to the flick on there and got it away from danger. Oh, that's a late challenge, that from Edson Alvarez. It's going to be a booking here. It is, rightfully so, I would have to say. And he's now not happy. Alvarez has to watch himself. Can't allow this to get any worse than a yellow card. And Saka is the man who gets the boos from around the London Stadium. It is a late challenge. I mean, the ball's well away. Saka's got it well away, and then Edson Alvarez comes sliding in. I mean, his foot is on the floor, but he does kind of come flying in at Bukayo Saka at some angle. Upends the Englishman, and he gets his 8th yellow card of the season, and Arsenal have a free kick. And let's keep that conversation of blue cards under wraps. Stick it to yellow and reds for today. Thank you very much. This free kick for Arsenal. It's Rice and Odegaard. Odegaard's left it. Rice plays it down the line. Saka was the free man. Here is Saka. Cuts it back to Rice. Right-footed delivery. Deep into the box. And Havertz got first connection, but couldn't fire it towards goal, and Areola did well to come and collect. See, a couple of times they're trying to impose their aerial threat, Arsenal, but on couple of occasions, the West Ham keepers come out the better of those situations. Oh, Bowen felt he was fouled there. Arsenal nicked the ball away. Here's Trossard. Down the right, Saka. Edge of the box, back to Odegaard. Overlapping as Ben White. Finds Ben White, now finds Saka. Quick movement from Arsenal. Rice. Under pressure. Finds it to Odegaard on the right flank. He's got Ben White with him. Saka infield. Saka goes for the one from distance. It takes a deflection off Trossard, I think. And I think that'll be a goal kick. Or will it be a corner? We'll have to see the replay. It's Odegaard. Plays it infield. Saka was just made that infield run, and then it actually takes a deflection off Aguerd. Looked like from the other angle it came off Trossard, but yeah, it does come off Aguerd. It arms down by his sides. There's nothing in that in terms of penalty shouts, but it is a corner. Very least that Arsenal want. Corner taken. Odegaard with a delivery. With the follow-up, and it's headed behind by Alvarez for another corner. Arsenal's dominance starting to show. And if they start this, get the first goal, Arsenal, you will feel that they'll be galvanised and will kick on. West Ham need to ride this wave and get past it unscathed. Corner for Arsenal, right hand side. Saka on it. Odegaard the short option, takes that short option. Back to Saka. Looking to work the angle. Crosses it to the back post, but far too much on that one from Bukayo Saka. And that goes behind for a goal kick. Mikel Arteta just giving his side some bits of information. There's a lot of other games going on this afternoon around Europe and around England as well. In England and Scotland, we have a Scottish Cup game between St Mirren and Celtic that kicked off at 2 o'clock. That is goalless at the moment. A Scottish Premiership game between Dundee and St Johnstone. St Johnstone have taken the lead in that one after just a couple of minutes. Matt Smith with the goal in the 9th minute to give St Johnstone the lead. Liverpool and the London City Lionesses in the Women's FA Cup. Sophie Haag has given Liverpool the lead after just 6 minutes. Also in Ligue 1 in France, Toulouse are trailing Nantes by a 1-0 at home. Mustafa Mohamed with a 2nd minute goal to give Nantes the lead away at Toulouse. And also a 2:30 kickoff in the Bundesliga between Stuttgart and Mainz. Of course, a lot of us glued to our screens yet last night watching the Bundesliga top 2, and an emphatic victory for Bayer Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso against Thomas Tuchel and Bayern München. Cracking game at the Bayer Arena last night. We're hoping our title race in the Premier League lives up to that. It looks like it so far. 13 minutes gone, goalless here at the London Stadium. Arsenal have had a lot of the early possession and early kind of attacking chances. West Ham trying to get themselves up the pitch now. Here's Vladimir Sofal with his throw in, right hand side. Goes short to Kudus, back to Sofal. Drives in, fail, looks for the cross with the left foot, but no height behind that cross. Has to be rescued back to Nayef Aguerd. He goes long, trying to find Kudus. Second ball won by Sofal though. Here is Kudus. He's got the pace and the skill to get past any sort of defender in the Premier League. He's been a real star player since joining West Ham. One of their key attacking threats. There's one thing about West Ham, they're absolutely kind of billowing in attacking threat and attacking talent. You know, the many very good attacking players that they have at this football club is quite remarkable, really, when you think about it. Jared Bowen's one of them, and he's pressing the Arsenal centre-back. Saliba, Gabriel, under pressure, goes back to Raya. Arsenal playing out from the back, but making it work. Here's Saliba. Odegaard back to help out. Through the lines to Rice. Rice Pressed very well there by Bowen. Ben Johnson picks it up. Now Ward-Prowse trying to get West Ham flowing. Rhythm's not been quite there so far. Here's Edson Alvarez. Zuma. West Ham all inside the Arsenal half now. Aguerd linking up with Ward-Prowse. Aguerd continues his run down the left. Has to go back to Ward-Prowse. No forward option. Alvarez on the halfway line. To Emerson. Now Ben Johnson. It's good play from West Ham there. Getting past the Arsenal press. But slowly but surely dropping back into their own half. It's good counter press from Arsenal. Aguerd has to go back to Alphonse Areola, which will... Actually, I thought he was going to go long there. He's played it out to Aguerd, who himself goes long. Puts pressure on Saliba. Does well to clear it away, William Saliba, but Saka loses out to Ben Johnson. And now Bowen, and that's a good move. Here's Johnson down the left. Johnson looking for the cross. Kudus trying to work it, and great covering by Jakub Kiwior, getting his body in the way and stopping Kudus from cutting across. Beautiful link up. Ben Johnson steals it on the left, plays it infield to Bowen, knows Johnson's going to make the run down the left, plays it through, and then Johnson goes for the early cross with his left boot, curling towards Mohamed Kudus at the back post, and Jakub Kiwior does incredibly well to use his body against the West Ham winger and put it out for the corner. Fantastic in the end from Arsenal, but really good move from West Ham initially to get into those positions. And from corners they look threatening. Corner whipped in, away by Gabriel, not fully cleared though. Johnson running back towards his own goal, but has to put it out. And there's an issue. Thomas Souček, I think, is appealing for a penalty. Nah, there's nothing in that for me. He just tries to get past Odegaard. Odegaard tries to grip at him to hold him back, and then he goes down far too easily there, Thomas Souček. There's nothing there for me. And VAR, I think it's come to the same conclusion. Of course, Craig Pawson, the referee this afternoon. VAR this afternoon at the London Stadium is John Brooks, and he has ruled in the favour of Arsenal there that was not a penalty. Here's Raya. Saliba. Oh, Arsenal have had the early dominance, as I mentioned. You know, West Ham on the break. They really are threatening. They've got the ability of the players, the pace of those players to really add to that threat, make it more difficult for Arsenal, those wide players. And oh, Martinelli cutting back, giving it away. Here's Bowen. Here come West Ham again. Bowen from distance takes a deflection, which actually helps out David Raya in the end. Went to go for early there. Jarrod Bowen knew he was running out of room and had no options either side of him that were free. Another unforced error there on Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli was absolutely incredible last week. Both wide players, Saka and Martinelli, were just running rings around the Liverpool defence last week. It was just quite pathetic at times, really, from Liverpool defensively. They bounced back yesterday with that win over Vincent Kompany and Burnley at Anfield. Of course, not a statement victory, let's be honest, but they all count. 3 points is what matters, which put Liverpool back to the top of the table after Man City leapfrogged them at lunchtime yesterday after their 2-0 win away at home against Everton. Everton held them for a good 70 minutes. Here comes Saka. Saka's tame shot will just roll its way towards Alphonse Areola, who can catch comfortably there. Kept in by Ben Johnson, who's wrestled to the floor, and that'll be a West Ham throw-in. Well won by Emerson there. Saka getting his own back on the West Ham players from his earlier challenge. Goals to tell you about from those other key games that we were mentioning earlier. Another goal, or a goal in the Scottish Cup. The opener has come at between St Mirren and Celtic, and it is the visitors that have taken the lead. Celtic, Kyogo Furuhashi with the goal to give Celtic a 1-goal lead away at St Mirren. All the rest, all the same. Funnily enough, in all the games that we've picked to keep an eye on this afternoon, all 4 games that we have currently got underway, the visiting side, the away side, are all winning by 1-0. Will the same transpire here? Or will West Ham be able to use their home advantage to their advantage? Here's Johnson looking for a pass. Finds it to Soucek. Emerson allows it to run along. Emerson taking his time, looking for the cross. Rice with a block. Emerson battling again, but Rice wins the header. Johnson wins the second ball. Here comes Ben Johnson on the left flank. Cuts it back to Ward-Prowse. Lovely link up between Emerson and Ward-Prowse in that tight space. West Ham keeping the possession on that side. Johnson with a cross. Hooked away by Saliba. And West Ham come again with Aguerd. Wide to Emerson, but he tried to play it out for a throw in there, and Saka nicked it away. Here's Rice. Bursting forward, Saka now. Ødegaard. Time and space to measure one. Tries to find Trossard. He's trying to force it through to Havertz, but West Ham away again. Struggled to get into the game in the early phases. Neither Trossard or Havertz have been majorly involved. It's been more in the wide areas that Arsenal have been getting their joy so far, with the likes of a Martinelli or a Saka. Through the middle, they've not found much space as of yet. Ødegaard finds Saka down the right. Saka with a cross in. Trossard with a header over the bar. And I could read his lips there from Leandro Trossard. He wasn't happy with that chance going a begging. But it was a really good cross by Saka. And Trossard trying to figure out, he was just below it. He was slightly ahead of the ball as well, which kind of took it off the top of his head rather than the front of it to direct it towards goal, and went over the bar for a goal kick. But just as I was saying that he was struggling to get into the game and struggling to have an impact so far, he pops up with a chance. Commentator's curse, of course, as always. It's always the way. Here's Ben Johnson trying to put to get West Ham forward in that wide area. Saka picks his pocket, gives it to Ødegaard, and Trossard, charging through. Havertz recycles it, finds it to Ødegaard. Nice Saka on the right flank. Bodies in the box for Arsenal. Martinelli's come across. He chips it. Trossard again! And a fantastic save by Areola to fire it over the top. Really lovely movement from the Arsenal forward players. Saka takes it on the right. Martinelli comes across. Kind of confuses West Ham as to how they defend this situation. And it just chipped to the back post, and Trossard was there ready to run away and celebrate. Takes it on the volley. Beautiful strike by Trossard, but equally good save by Alphonse Areola to pip it over the top for a corner. Just as I was mentioning that Trossard wasn't in the game, he pops up with 2 very good chances to give Arsenal the lead. They have a corner and all their bodies at the back post. Arsenal, 5 players at the back post. Trossard in the middle, 2 on the edge of the box. Saka to take it. They all run to the front post as the corner's taken. First connection there by Aguerd, who gets it clear, and Saka gets it back. Not offside according to the official. And then Trossard hoofs at that one and knocks it wide for a goal kick. Again, Saka cuts it back. It's not one of the best crosses. I think that was Saliba with a cross. A bit low, and Trossard just had to flick at it, trying to hope that it was going somewhere, but it ended up going wide. Areola to take this goal kick. 24.5 minutes gone. 0-0 at the London Stadium. And a couple of good chances for Arsenal. I mean, they've created the majority of it. I mean, you look at the stats. I mean, the stats don't lie. So far, basically, from what we've seen, it's been all Arsenal. West Ham have had one or two opportunities, some good opportunities as well on the break, but nothing creating massive goal-scoring opportunities so far for the Hammers. And Arsenal nick it away again. Ødegaard got options, gives it to Saka on the right. Usually the option he takes. Saka was going to try and cut inside. The strike actually takes a deflection. West Ham pick it up. Now they want to do the same. Bowen goes down again. Referee not doing anything about it, but Alvarez done really well there, but the pass given away to Arsenal again. Bowen really not happy. A couple of times he's felt he's been fouled by the Arsenal centre-backs, and referee Craig Paulson has spotted nothing, causing the frustration of the West Ham forward. And talk about that, you know, Jarrod Bowen, kind of that change in his role, you know, with Mikel Antonio not being a main man in the side anymore. Someone had to step up to that centre forward role, and David Moyes said that they knew he could do it and wanted to try him out in that position. And so far, since he's been moved into that position, very rarely has he gone away from it. Here's Emerson down the left, looking for the crossing. Not the best of crosses, took a deflection straight into David Raya's hands. Again, Kudus, the main threat from that left-hand from that cross from the left. A couple of times what they've done, West Ham, is when they've got it down the left, there's only been one man in the box. Jarrod Bowen's been kind of that cutback option, and Kudus has been the deep crossing option. So that's probably why West Ham are really struggling in that position. They're not getting bodies up the pitch quick enough, but Arsenal getting bodies back well in a lot of time. With a lot of time to spare before West Ham can even threaten them. And that's why West Ham have had just the one shot, no shots on target so far for the Hammers. Arsenal, on the other hand, 7 shots, 3 on target, 67% possession for Arsenal. So maybe panning out the way we probably would have expected. Here's Saka. Back to Rice. From distance. Thought he was going to eye up a shot there. Gives it to Saka wide. Cuts it back to Ødegaard from the edge of the box. Deflection! And takes it wide. He didn't know where that was going to go. I think it was Emerson that got the definitive touch on it. They took it wide. Saka, again, as you always see, Saka just tiptoeing into the box. Cuts it back to Ødegaard, who's on the edge of the 18-yard box, and looks to strike it with his left, and it does take a very kind deflection for West Ham, because it could have been a wicked one, and it went behind for the corner, which Arsenal know how to score from. The most goals from corners this season in the Premier League, 10, more than any other side in the competition. Rice with a corner, headed away by Ward-Prowse, and Arsenal will recycle it again. Havertz, Saka, Ødegaard to Ben White, who's very central. Rice all the way out to the left to Martinelli, up against Sofal, and Kudus helping in cover, but Sofal had it all covered, but then he gives the ball away, and that will be a free kick to West Ham there. Martinelli deemed to have fouled Sofal in the process of their battle, to a free kick to the home side. I don't think it was massive amounts in it, but kind of gets, yeah, it is a hand it's a loose left hand, a stray hand in the face of Vladimir Sofal there. No malice in it from Gabriel Martinelli, just trying to hold off the player, but it is a free kick and a foul. Areola to take this free kick deep in the West Ham half, fires it up the pitch, right down the right flank, and I think West Ham got a free kick against them. So check this time. Committing the foul. That was all pointless. Take a free kick. Give one away. Here's Rice. Trossard. What a ball forward. Finds Martinelli on the run. Space now for Martinelli. Cuts it across, and somebody's from Arsenal coming in there, but West Ham got the clearance just in the nick of time as Bowen uses his body to win it back. Trying to get West Ham on the attacking foot, the front foot. And Trossard trying to win it back, puts it out for a West Ham throw. Great ball by Trossard, absolutely fantastic. And Martinelli gets past Sofal, has the time and space to look up and try and find another Arsenal body in there, and almost finding the foot of Martin Odegaard. Was just slightly behind the ball when it came his way. Just escaped the Arsenal captain at the last second. Those moments, at the moment, keeping West Ham in it, those very fine margins. Otherwise, it could be very much a formality by this point as to where the points would be going, based on the chances that Arsenal have created, but haven't been able to punish West Ham for those chances that they have given up. Half an hour gone. Goalless at the London Stadium, but Arsenal pushing it for to break the deadlock. Havertz finds Trossard. Bit of space. Saka wide on the right. Here comes Bukayo Saka. Back to Ben White. Going for the cross. Souček got in there, but couldn't clear it away. Havertz, and then gives it to Kivior, who puts the cross in. Bounces off Sofal and behind for the corner. This seems to be a similar theme. I think David Moyes needs to figure out how West Ham do get out of these situations. I mean, as I mentioned, they've had one shot in the game. If it continues the way it's going at the moment, there's only going to be one outcome, and that's Arsenal taking the lead and Arsenal going on to win. West Ham have no attacking kind of output so far. They have another corner. Rice to take it again from that left-hand side. Right-footed in, swinger, back post, and in! Someone popped up with the back post. I think it was Saliba. Lots of bodies at that back post. Very deep cross from Declan Rice. And William Saliba gets up and heads it in. See the replay of it again. Rice just lifts it to the back post, curling towards the West Ham goal. And it's William Saliba. Gets away from his man, gets above Edson Alvarez. And it's just a simple flick-on header into the back of the net. The keeper's nowhere to be seen. Areola's diving far too low. Nowhere to be seen there. They are the West Ham keeper. And West Ham, uncharacteristically, beaten on a corner. But Arsenal know how to score from those positions. Saliba with his second goal of the season. Arsenal with their 11th goal from corners this season. They're the masters of corners in this Premier League season. And they've made it count this time. And I mean, as I mentioned, it was a matter of time. Only a matter of time. The way Arsenal are playing and the lack of attack from West Ham. It was practically one-way traffic. And Arsenal looking to make the most of this now and look to be going on the break again. Here's Saka. Odegaard, and now we'll see how West Ham want to respond to this, but also how Arsenal react to them taking the lead. I'm guessing they will just kick on now, but who knows? Seen them before in London. Choke when they've taken the lead. Most notably against Fulham. On New Year's Eve. Ball over the top. Sofal with the header away, but Havertz back in it. Gets it down. And there needs to be a real consultation at half-time if they get that far, West Ham. So how they can change this game to even try and pose a threat to Arsenal defensively. Because the Arsenal defence has pretty much had a field day. They've just had nothing to do. I mean, I don't remember a time when David Raya was tested at all. I don't think he has been tested so far. Saka finds Trossard. Tight spaces in the box, but Arsenal make it work. Get it back to Rice. Right, Odegaard again, looking for a cross in. Goes in for the cross, just ahead of Saka. And Zuma diving for the header, gets it away. But again, West Ham can't get it clear. Arsenal back in possession. Martinelli on the left. Kivior. Kivior with a cross. Saka with a header. Goes wide. What an opportunity. And Saka smacking the floor with both hands there. Frustrated with himself. Such a good opportunity. Kivior with a cross, and Saka, maybe he was off balance, but he felt within himself that he should have found the back of the net there, but the ball went wide. Still 1-0. Bukayo Saka, a real threat for Arsenal. As always, I mean, the whole front line of Arsenal have been threatening. David Moyes, I'm sure, can't be happy with how his side have played. Well, that's Kudus, though, trying to get them forward. But again, Arsenal win the challenges and get the ball away from danger. Quite easily, really. Sofal has to go back all the way back to his keeper. It's a real struggle for West Ham so far. Well, credit to Arsenal, how they've played and how they've been able to stop, how they've been able to stop West Ham in threatening positions. I haven't found them very often, but when they do, Arsenal look well covered. Here's Saliba. Down the right hand side, finds Saka. 36 minutes gone, 0-1 at the London Stadium. Saliba the goal scorer. That's a lovely link up again. Here's Odegaard, finds Saka. Saka chips it. Goes wide again. Maybe it's just not Bukayo Saka's day. Couple of occasions we should have found the back of the net, and again, lovely football by Arsenal on the edge of the West Ham box, and intricate football. That's Odegaard, beautifully weighted pass. Saka, all he has to do is chip it past Areola, but he uses the outside of his left boot, and that carries it wide of the left post. Spins it away from the back of the West Ham net. They find a second goal before half time. I mean, it's practically an impossibility, but you never know. But that's a good run. Here's Saka again, maybe third time lucky, goes down, and a penalty and a yellow card for Areola. There we are. Third time lucky for Saka. Made the run in behind. West Ham nowhere to be seen. Terrible. I mean, what's that? Lovely ball over the top. Saka made the run. Was he onside? Tight that. Ball over the top. Saka takes it with his first. Uses left to take a touch away from the West Ham keeper. Beautiful ball by Trossard. Aguerd nowhere to be seen. And then Areola just kind of uses his full body and steps across into the path of Bukayo Saka. And he just leaves a left boot in there. And Bukayo Saka's balance taken away. And a penalty is given. And it's a yellow card for Areola. Now we'll see. Well, he's well onside there. Oh, well, is he clearly onside, actually? We'll see. VAR are checking this. So, if he's offside, nothing can be given. It's about the... I said it was tight. We'll see if Sofal is the man playing him on. It looks like it, but it is very tight. I mean, it actually does look quite definitive. Sofal does look deeper. Does look like he's playing him on, but the lines are being drawn at the moment by VAR John Brooks, so a decision will be imminent, surely, to decide whether Arsenal do have a penalty or not. And the decision is quite convincingly onside for Saka, so the penalty will stand. And of course, the double jeopardy rule means that Areola can only get a yellow card, so the red card doesn't even come into question. It's that double jeopardy rule, of course. You give away a penalty. Red card is not a viable option. Penalties for Arsenal. 6 of 6 this season from the penalty spot. Can Bukayo Saka, who's seemingly unlucky all afternoon, will his luck get him across the line and give Arsenal a 2-goal lead before half-time? Saka against Areola. 6 from 6 this season for Arsenal. Can they keep the 100% record from the spot? Saka taking his time. Quick run up, left-footed, 2-0. Sends Areola the wrong way, finds the bottom right corner, and Bukayo Saka doubles Arsenal's lead. Dominant first half from the Gunners, and the scoreline most certainly reflects that now. Saliba with a first, Saka with a second. Arsenal seemingly cruise into victory in East London. Really good penalty. Forced it. Strong left boot. Bottom corner. Into the right. Right corner. That's a great angle. And applause from the manager, Mikel Arteta. 7 penalties out of 7 scored. And Arsenal double their lead before the break. And that could be crucial to really give themselves a bit of headroom in this game. And a chance to really kick on and take this game well away from West Ham now. I mean, West Ham have practically not been in the game at all from kick-off. It's been a pretty poor showing from David Moyes' side. And completely the opposite from Mikel Arteta's Gunners. Been absolutely immense since the first whistle. West Ham huffing and puffing at the moment. And half-time, more of kind of a rescue for West Ham. They need half-time, otherwise they really could be cut adrift before the interval. The way they're playing at the moment, they're no match, no competition for this Arsenal team. Really, it's no comparison to the reverse fixture at the Emirates earlier this season. West Ham were clearly the better side on that occasion. Arsenal just weren't up to it on that occasion, but today it's the complete opposite. And Bukayo Saka has his 50th Arsenal goal in his career in all competitions. 210 appearances, 50 goals, 49 assists. Incredible. His next will be his 100th goal contribution. Of course, another milestone. But it's been all Arsenal. I mean, at half-time, David Moyes cannot say that his side have been anywhere near in this game. Arsenal have been absolutely incredible. Rice to take this free kick. Less than 2 minutes of the first half to go. Right-footed delivery, looking to catch the keeper out, and does so. And it's another goal from a set piece. And it's Gabriel, I think, this time. And it's 3-0 to the Gunners. I said the last time that they won in this ground, both centre-backs scored. Well, it's rinse and repeat today. 3-0 up before half-time. And both centre-backs on the score sheet. West Ham 0, Arsenal 3. I mean, there's no competition. It's been a training exercise for Arsenal in this first half. Great delivery by Rice again. All onside. And it's just great from Gabriel. Just sails over the head of Havertz on the front post. And Gabriel's there just behind him. They direct it past Areola. And into the back of the West Ham net. Some vigour on that. Great cross by Rice. And a fantastic header by Gabriel. 3-0. No competition. Absolutely paper thin, this West Ham defence today. And Arsenal have been red hot in front of goal. 3-0. And there is surely only one way that this game will go. West Ham have been invisible, like ghosts this afternoon. Needn't bother of even to show up. But it's been an incredible first 45 minutes from the visiting side. Have been miles above West Ham's level. And we've a lot of added time before half time. 7 additional minutes is exactly not the number that West Ham would have wanted to see. Or David Moyes. Could make it worse. It cannot get any worse than what it is now. Arsenal absolutely on fire. We talk about tough away games. It was clearly evidence last season. This game was one of the ones that they slipped up in the run-in. Tough game away at West Ham. And they struggled to get the winner on that day. And they struggle though. If they don't win this one, it'll be some story. But at this rate, to talk about whether West Ham get a shot on target, never mind a goal, or even get anywhere near the Arsenal box. Yet to have a touch inside the opposition box, West Ham so far, which is quite pathetic really. But it shows how well Arsenal have defended and how dominant that Arsenal have been, that West Ham have had little to nothing in attacking areas. Here's Odegaard. Finds Trossard. Trossard! 4-0! Everything Arsenal hit is turning to gold at the minute. 4-0 before half-time. And West Ham, they've been nowhere near it. But Arsenal, everything they touch turns to gold. And Trossard with a lovely finish. Again, it's just shambolic from West Ham. They can't get anywhere near the ball, and Odegaard just strides towards the box, gives it to the left-hand side to Trossard. Time and space on the edge of the box. Pathetic defending, really. And a right-footed strike by Trossard into the top corner. Not quite in the top corner, but into that top right area of the net. Fingertips from Areola, but not enough to keep it out. An embarrassing first half from West Ham, but an absolutely wonderful first half of football by Arsenal. What a way to respond to your two title rivals winning. The pressure was on Arsenal coming into this one. They needed the result, and by God they've shown up and really put West Ham to the sword very convincingly. West Ham 0, Arsenal 4, and it's not even half time. And they're already leaving. I don't blame them. This has been probably one of the worst performances of West Ham this season. You know, they've been pretty much one of the kind of the best of the rest. I'd have to say, up there, outside of the top 5, West Ham have been one of the main contenders for that one of those European places, but 2024 has not been anywhere near good enough from West Ham so far, yet to win this calendar year, and we're on the 11th of February. They've been the kind of kings of draws in the Premier League this year so far. Only one defeat, but it's now 7 goals conceded in a row. 3 at Old Trafford last week, 4 in the first half here. 7 goals without response is calamitous from West Ham United. We still have another 3 minutes of this first half to go. I mean, if damage limitations was an understatement, well, it is an understatement. Not even damage limitations for West Ham in this first half now. It's just about maintaining their pride. Because we 4-0 down at home, Yes, against one of the big sides and a title challenger, but I mean, they actually are going out. They're leaving. Scenes of outside of London Stadium. Fans have seen enough, the West Ham fans. The Arsenal fans just can't get enough of this. And can you blame them? An offside flag up there. Ben White just strayed into an offside position. And that's, as I mentioned, one way to respond to Man City and Liverpool both winning yesterday. Statement first half from Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. It would put them, as I mentioned before kick-off, a win would put Arsenal back within touching distance of the top two. Man City on 52, Liverpool on 54. Arsenal with a win would go on to 52 points, open that gap to their North London rivals Tottenham, and also close the gap to the top two at the moment. But of course, Man City have a game in hand over both Liverpool and Arsenal. Both still have to play at Man City before the end of the season, so still a long way to go in the title race, but Arsenal firmly keeping themselves in it. And with this scoreline at the moment, showing the threat that they can pose. Incredible. 4 goals, 4 different goal scorers, 2 centre-backs on the score sheet, both from set pieces. Declan Rice finally getting a bit of joy against his old club. West Ham beaten Arsenal in their last 2 meetings, both this season, one in the Premier League, one in the League Cup, but today, I mean, barring one of the most unbelievable comebacks in Premier League history, it looks like Arsenal are firmly getting 3 points here. As we still have another 90, so not even 30 seconds to go of the first half. And I don't know if who will take more joy out of the halftime whistle. I think West Ham fans will be happy to see that their side can't concede anymore in this first half, but Arsenal will be absolutely loving this, not wanting this first half to end. The Gunners, surely. And there is the half-time whistle from Craig Pawson. A first half to forget for West Ham, a first half to remember for Arsenal. Quite incredible from this first half. 2 centre-backs in William Saliba and Gabriel on the score sheet. Saka with a penalty and Trossard with a nice curling finish to top it all off. Half-time, it's really been no contest at all at the London Stadium. It's West Ham that have kind of crumbled. Arsenal looking as strong as ever, and they have a fairly strong lead at the half-time break. Half-time, it's West Ham United 0, Arsenal 4.
Catch me if I fall. Messi, I'll put you in a grade 6 feet like Kenny.
Welcome back to Premier League Live half-time at the London Stadium. It is West Ham United 0, Arsenal 4 at half-time. An incredible first half for Arsenal. We've already seen 7 Premier League games this weekend so far, and Arsenal's title rivals, Liverpool and Man City, both getting wins at home. Let's talk through those results from yesterday. All 7 Premier League games coming yesterday. Started at lunchtime when Man City ended up in eventually getting the 3 points against Everton after Sean Dyche's side held them for over 70 minutes without a shot on target at the Etihad yesterday. That's the third longest third longest time in a game where Man City have failed to have a shot on target. In that one, Everton done an incredible job for 70 minutes, but I mean, you have to be on target for 95 with your defensive approach. And Erling Haaland, his first goals since returning from injury for Manchester City since November for Haaland. Unheard of that, but he got 2 yesterday. A brace for him takes him back to the top of the goal-scoring charts. 16 goals for Erling Haaland in the Premier League this season to give Man City 3 points against Everton and a clean sheet, considering they kept 1 clean sheet in their previous 11 games, Man City, but they got 1 yesterday. They were one of only 2 sides to get a clean sheet yesterday. Fulham got a good result at home against Bournemouth as well yesterday, convincing 3 points for Marco Silva's side. They were 2 goals up at the half. Bobby De Cordova-Reid and Rodrigo Muniz giving Fulham a 2-goal cushion. Marcus Senesi brought it back to a competition, only for a couple of minutes though, when he got Bournemouth's only goal of the afternoon before Rodrigo Muniz got his second of the afternoon to take it to 3-1 just 2 minutes after Bournemouth scored their goal, and that ended up being the result, 3-1 to the home side. In the end, listen to this, very different stats. Fulham had 7 shots, 6 of them on target, so they were pretty accurate with their shots. But Bournemouth had 25 shots away from home, just the 4 on target. Having better XG than Fulham, but Fulham more clinical on the day, getting 3-1 victory there. Speaking of more clinical, Liverpool back to winning ways after that, only their second defeat of the season, that defeat at the Emirates Stadium last weekend, but they lost last weekend, of course, in that big title game by 3-1, and they won by 3-1 yesterday. Burnley were a tough customer. Both managers in the end, Jurgen Klopp and Vincent Kompany, getting booked on the afternoon, and that was the early affairs. 3 yellow cards before the first goal. O'Shea, Quansah and Brownhill all getting booked by the referee before Diogo Jota from a corner. This is probably one of the most bizarre goals I've seen from a corner in recent seasons. From a corner, the delivery from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and the keeper flaps at it, nowhere near it, and Diogo Jota doesn't even have to jump, and he gets a firm header on the ball and gets the opening goal for Liverpool. Then it wasn't all their way in the first half for the home side. Dara O'Shea, with his first ever Premier League goal, got them Burnley back on level terms, and that gave Burnley hope just before half time, a perfect time to score a goal usually. It didn't work out that way in the end. Liverpool came out in the second half, played well above themselves, well above the first half level. Trent Alexander-Arnold went off precautionary. Harvey Elliott came onto the pitch and he was absolutely lighting up the second half. Luis Diaz getting the goal, the cross coming from Harvey Elliott to give Liverpool a lead again. And Darwin Nunez, he had a big chance saved, but he made that one count. 3-1 Liverpool, and Harvey Elliott assisted that one as well. So 3-1 winners for Liverpool there yesterday. Of course, in their biggest ever kind of attendance at Anfield, 59,800 people, the most ever at a Premier League game at Anfield in that one yesterday. 3-1 win, and the first away win of the season. That's a typo. 3-1 win away for Sheffield United. Their first away win of the season came at Kenilworth Road. It's been a place where big teams have got unstuck this season, but Sheffield United were certainly not unstuck away in that one yesterday. Cameron Archer and James McAtee giving Sheffield United a 2-goal lead before half-time. Luton got themselves back into it through a penalty from Carlton Morris in the second half, but Vinicius Souza with the definitive goal to give Sheffield United the 3 points, with only 3 shots on target, 3 goals, clinical as you like, from Sheffield United and Chris Wilder's team. Luton were the better side, arguably, more of the chances and dominating the possession, but caught out on the break with their opportunities, and that puts, considering those results, Burnley and Sheffield United both bottom of the table now, with Sheffield United's 3 points. Comeback win for Spurs against Brighton. Brighton took an early lead in that one. Pascal Gross from the penalty spot giving the visitors, the Seagulls, the lead. Pape Sarr then levelled it for Spurs in the second half before a 96th minute winner. How many of those have they had this season, Spurs? 96th minute winner from Brennan Johnson, assisted by Heung-min Son, returning from the Asian Cup after South Korea were put out at the semi-final stage, and Son back in the business for Spurs and setting up a winning goal for Brennan Johnson yesterday. Only one of two sides to get a clean sheet. Brentford got a clean sheet yesterday against Wolves away in that one. Again, another stadium where big sides have come unstuck this season, but Brentford getting the win. Christian Norgard and Ivan Toney, the goal scorers, to give Brentford a win there that pushes them a bit further away from that relegation zone where they could have been under real threat if they'd have dropped points yesterday. They got the 3 points to take them away from there. And the final game yesterday was a cracker. End-to-end game between Nottingham Forest and Newcastle. 3-2 it finished for Newcastle in the end. Guimaraes getting the winning goal. He got the first goal as well in the game. Anthony Elanga levelled it for Forest before Fabian Schär then retook the lead for Newcastle before Callum Hudson-Odoi equalised again before half-time. Bruno Guimaraes, the only goal of the second half, giving Newcastle the win and the 3 points, and to take them up to 7th, of course, and they're pushing up the table. Good form for Newcastle and getting players back and looking strong again. So those were the big results from yesterday. 4-0 to Arsenal at half-time here at the London Stadium. Aston Villa and Manchester United to come at 4:30. Team news from Villa Park in about 30 minutes' time. And in the Monday Night Football, Crystal Palace against Chelsea in a London derby. Let's just run you through the first half stats then from the London Stadium. I mean, it's pretty definitive. Arsenal had 72% possession, 15 shots, 7 on target, XG of 2.78. That's all Arsenal. Look at West Ham, 28% possession, 1 shot, 0 on target, XG of 0.02. The worst in a first half for West Ham this season. Arsenal have had 5 big chances. They've missed 2 of those. West Ham, of course, yet to create a big chance, yet to be anywhere in the game. 70% passing accuracy for West Ham, no match for Arsenal's 93% passing accuracy, which is pretty much incredible from how they've played in that first half. And Arsenal certainly dominant, and the scoreline showing that quite convincingly. Saliba, Saka, Gabriel and Trossard, the 4 goal scorers for the Gunners at the break. Right, 5 minutes until the second half gets underway. Let's quickly have a look at the Premier League table for you and see how that stands. I talked about it juggling happening yesterday after those differing results and a few changing of places in the table. And let's start with the top half and let's talk about, in the end, little changed really. Man City took top spot at lunchtime, but Liverpool responded with a win to retake top spot, so it's as you were in that front. Liverpool top with 54 points, Man City 2 points behind them, but have a game in hand, of course, to play Brentford at home in the next few weeks to get that game in hand away from them. 52. Arsenal with a win here would be on 52 as well. 5 points ahead of 4th place Spurs, who can be overtaken this afternoon by Aston Villa when they play Manchester United. Man United can close the gap to the top 5 if they win at Villa Park. They're on 38 points. Newcastle, West Ham, Brighton and Wolves all making up the top 4, where it looks like only Newcastle out of those 4 will get the win this weekend, so not a good weekend for those teams. In terms of the bottom half, very interesting, of course, Chelsea in the bottom half, but they can change that this weekend, of course. Getting a win, if they get a win away at Crystal Palace, they will go above Wolves and into the top half. Fulham alongside them, they're 2 points behind, but Chelsea still yet to play. Bournemouth have a game in hand on the teams around them, and after that defeat yesterday to Fulham, they've been overtaken by Fulham. Bournemouth dropped to 13th, but still a bit clear of that relegation threat. Brentford pushing up the table after their win. Palace looking to respond. They have that game on Monday night. Forest dragging ever closer to that bottom 3 after that defeat to Newcastle yesterday. Only 2 points clear of second or third bottom Everton. Luton with a game in hand on everyone else around them. They lost as well yesterday, but they will look to bounce back, but they have a game in hand on the teams and around them, and they can still get themselves clear of that relegation zone, which has Everton, Burnley and Sheffield United inside it. All have played and are all not moving from those positions. Everton still a bit adrift at the bottom too, and keeping themselves in with a chance of saving themselves, but it's looking tough for Everton, who had very little attacking threat yesterday against Man City. That can be excused, of course. That is the table and the way it looks at the moment. Let's just tell you what's coming up on LFS. A big event later this evening. Super Bowl 58 from Las Vegas. The San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs looking to get back-to-back Super Bowl victories. The Niners looking to upset the apple cart. Can they do that tonight? 11:30 on LFS. And also to come, another Premier League game before that at Villa Park between Aston Villa and Manchester United. Kick-off at 4:30. Team news from around 3:30. So about 25 minutes time as the players just arriving at Villa Park this afternoon in both sets of colours. The second half from the London Stadium is on the way in just a moment.
Catch me if I fall. Messi, I'll put you in a grave 6 feet like Kenny.
Welcome back to Premier League Live half-time between West Ham and Arsenal. It is 4-0 to the visitors. Pretty convincing at first half. Some updates from those other games that we are keeping an eye on for you. In the Women's FA Cup, it is Liverpool 1, London City Lionesses 0. Toulouse still 1-0 down away at Nantes. Second half's underway in those games. Dundee also 1-0 down at home against St Johnstone. There, Celtic are 1-up away at St Mirren, the second half underway there, and Stuttgart against Mainz is underway. Their first half on there, 35 minutes gone, and it remains goalless. So it's the away sides that are having the better of it this afternoon in all the games that we've picked, including this Premier League game that is about to get back underway. And I just heard at half-time, the last time Arsenal were 4-0 up at half-time was the 4-4 draw with Newcastle United in 2011. Goodness me, imagine that. Imagine if West Ham even get anywhere near coming back into this game. They'd need a big, kind of big change. And they need to be much better in this second half and hope that Arsenal drop their level enough to let them into the game. At the very least. And I would certainly not want to have been in the West Ham dressing room at half-time. It's not even about the first goal in the second half. It's about West Ham even having an opportunity. Here comes Bowen though, trying to get West Ham on the front foot early on in the second half. Bowen, look for the cutback. No one there. Good run, but good move, but Bowen just couldn't find anyone. He made that run down the right-hand side. And here comes Havertz. Martinelli. I mean, a goal for Arsenal would certainly dead any hopes of a comeback. What an awful shot that is. Martinelli and Trossard, who finished the half with an incredible shot, starts the half with probably one of the worst ones of the afternoon. Ødegaard was running onto it. Should have left it for Ødegaard really. And in the end, goes behind for a goal kick to West Ham. Having a few technical issues with our match map at the moment. Just trying to resolve those issues for you. Apologies for that. Just those issues we have at this moment in time. There we are, we're back. There we are. Typical. Well, one thing that isn't going wrong is Arsenal at this moment in time. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I mentioned it in the first half. What a way to respond to those two to your title rivals winning. You know, getting a convincing lead. It's been all Arsenal. I mean, it's crazy how one-sided this first half has been. The first half has been incredible. You know, one shot from West Ham. I mean, I can't remember the last time that West Ham failed to have a shot. Well, failed to have a shot on target in the first half, but not even that. But had only just the one shot to remember. Johnson with a cross straight into the hands of Raya. Well, David Moyes will at least want his side to play for pride in the second half. I mean, I don't think David Moyes will be thinking a comeback is a realistic kind of objective, but certainly not allowing this scoreline to get any worse would be probably the only positive of the afternoon for West Ham. A pretty bleak positive, but positive nonetheless. Saka. Odegaard a bit short, finds Rice though. Gets it to Saka on the right flank, left foot across, into the box, flicked on, but wide by Gabriel Martinelli. And a goal kick will be the outcome. And I actually wonder, you know, what would be the the tactic of David Moyes at half-time? How would you change it? That's the question. Because it's been a lack of kind of energy from West Ham. They've just not been themselves. I mean, credit to Arsenal, they haven't allowed them to be, but at the same time, you're the home side, you're against a big team, you've already beaten twice this season, you know you can do it, it's possible, but they just haven't been able to reach anywhere near that level today, and Arsenal have just had their number all afternoon. Havertz, shot from distance, goes wide. Narrowly wide though from Kai Havertz. I was talking about Man United arriving at Villa Park. Here come Aston Villa. They've just arrived at Villa Park there now. So team news, of course, from that game later this afternoon. Team news in about 15 minutes time. So stay tuned for that. And we'll bring the team news to you from Villa Park very shortly. Areola with the clearance. Again, Arsenal win the first ball, bring it down. And then they come back at West Ham. Here's White. Odegaard. White again. Looking to switch the play. Bit short that time, Ben White, and Sofal will head it back to his keeper. And West Ham, I failed to mention, did make a double substitution at half-time. That's probably what David Moyes was thinking. Calvin Phillips and Konstantinos Mavropanos coming in from Edson Alvarez and Kurt Zouma at half-time. So whether that's tactical or whether that is just based on those individuals' first-half performances, who knows? Don't think any of the West Ham defenders covered themselves in glory in that first half. I mean, obviously, 4-0 down. No one can say that they played to the level. Maybe it just turned out that Kurt Zouma was the man that got the chop. Here's Phillips, trying to give West Ham anything going forward. Bowen was the threat, couldn't get there. Half cleared by Arsenal. Kudus picks it up. Kudus, the catalyst usually for West Ham attacking chances. Kudus blocked, followed by Johnson is blocked as well, and calls of a handball there against Declan Rice, but West Ham don't get that decision. Probably, I think, rightfully so, but Bowen throwing his body on the line, but great skill by Trossard to get it away, and then the ball goes out of play by Calvin Phillips for a throw-in. Another update from our other games. The games we're keeping an eye on. 2 goals to tell you about. Toulouse now 2-0 down at home against Nantes in Liga. Tino Tenda Kadewere with the goal. And Celtic have doubled their lead away at St Mirren in the Scottish Cup. Dyson Maeda with the goal to give Celtic a 2-goal lead. Pressure there. Souček wins it back in the middle, but the ball forward is again wayward. Picked up by Arsenal again. The combination of the fact that Arsenal were so incredible on the ball, 93% possession or 93% passing accuracy in that first half, combined with West Ham's 70%, which is well below par, 70% passing accuracy. it's kind of a poisoned mix. You can't pass the ball, and your opposition are passing it incredibly well, and you can't get in the way to stop them. It's kind of always going to go end up one way, and West Ham themselves, at the very least, need to improve their passing. You know, I can't do anything about Arsenal's passing, but they can at least try and improve theirs when they do have possession. The little of it that they do have, they're usually so very good at that. West Ham, with the little amount of possession they have against the bigger sides where they allow them to control the game, often it's West Ham that are the more kind of pinpoint with their passes and more accurate than the opposition, because of how little of the ball they have. They know that it's crucial that they make it work, and more often than not, they do make it work, and they do kind of threaten and also punish the opposition. But not today, West Ham. Not today so far. Here's Kudus though. Nice battle against Havertz. Spins away from the challenge. But then in recovery is Kivior, but then given away by Rice to Bowen. Former teammates. Here's Bowen. Looking to find a body in the box. Johnson and Ward-Prowse had made the run. It's another man that was practically missing in that first half, is James Ward-Prowse. Emerson. Phillips. Mavropanos. To Sofal. Down the line to Bowen. Bowen linking up with Soucek. Nice Sofal. Again trying to get anywhere, any bit of space where they can threaten Arsenal, but Arsenal have so much, look so compact defensively. It doesn't look like there's any space at all to breach. The ball over the top again is no real threat, and David Raya comes and collects. They need to, I mean, they've got nothing to lose, West Ham, let's be honest. They've got absolutely nothing to lose here. But I did mention, you know, a positive would be for West Ham to, I said a pretty bleak positive, but a positive nonetheless, to not allow this scoreline to get any worse. It's one of those, damned if you do, damned if you don't, really. But David Moyes, that's the fine balance he needs to find in this second half. Being able to attack, but also being able to defend. They weren't able to do either in the first half. Sofal. Kudus. Now Phillips just on the halfway line. 10 minutes of the second half gone, and pretty much a positive for West Ham. They haven't conceded. Little by little. Emerson. Ward-Prowse there again. Closely marked by White, and then the pass from Ward-Prowse goes straight to Declan Rice. Here comes Havertz. Bit loose with his passing as Phillips breaks that apart. Nice ball, finds Johnson. Trying to carry West Ham forward. Here's Kudus. Got Ward-Prowse alongside him. Takes that option. No forward passes for Ward-Prowse. Has to go back to Emerson. He finds Phillips. Phillips with the ball over the top, and the run was made there by Ben Johnson. He ends up on the floor. Referee Craig Pawson says just a collision, not a foul against the West Ham man. Saliba was the other player involved in that collision. Ooh. It's good defending. Good ball by Phillips over the top, but yeah, Saliba does well in holding off Ben Johnson. Nothing in that for me. Goals about in the Bundesliga. A pretty incredible end to the half for Stuttgart in that one, in that game between Stuttgart and Mainz. 2 goals to the good. Both goals coming in additional time at the end of the first half. Maximilian Mittelstadt with the first one in the second minute of additional time, and they've just scored a second goal as well there, Stuttgart, just before half time. Jamie Llewellyn in the 45th plus 4th minute in that first half. So 2 goals to Stuttgart before the break. Here's Saka. to get Arsenal forward again. Havertz. Martinelli finds Saka again. Cuts it back to Ødegaard. Looking for the through ball. Linking up with Havertz. Here's Saka trying to work an angle. Opens it up and forces a big save from Areola. And then cleared away. Well, half cleared by West Ham. Arsenal's first real clear-cut opportunity at goal of the second half. And it's Saka with the strike. Areola with a good save to parry it away from relative danger. Foul there on Ødegaard. Just see the replay of this. Lovely ball by Ødegaard, threaded through. Havertz knew that Saka was making the run in the middle, flicked it on for Saka, and then he took his time, battling for the tightest angle of space. Got off Aguerd. Sofal was nowhere to be seen, and then a strike nicely from Saka, but really good save by Areola. Arsenal purring again. White. Here's Trossard. Gets it to the edge of the box. Ødegaard links it up with Havertz. Oh, lots of bodies in there. Couldn't get a clean strike. White now. Finds Ødegaard. Cuts it back. Cleared away by West Ham. Ødegaard again. White again. Martinelli overrun the ball. Cuts it back for Havertz, who's closely marked on the edge of the box, and the ball's cleared away. Now Phillips can carry it away. But this time, Rice gets in his way, and Saka wins the ball back. And the Olays are out now for Arsenal. Not many. Well, I mean, there's still a decent home crowd still here, but they're certainly not making any good noise. The Arsenal fans certainly making their voices heard. And their team doing the business on the pitch to give them the ability. Here's Gabriel. Saliba to Ødegaard. Now White. 14.5 minutes gone in the second half. West Ham 0, Arsenal 4. Wonderful first half from the Gunners. And they're trying to continue in the same vein in the second half. Quite ironically, West Ham have had more shots in the second half than they did in the whole of the first half, but still yet to find that illustrious shot on target that they're yet to find. Arsenal, 8 shots on target completed. Just the one in the second half so far, but they're starting to up the level. Cause more of a threat this second period. Here's Saliba. Back to Gabriel. Oh, bit loose there from Trossard. West Ham have it back. Mavropanos through into the Arsenal half. Finds Johnson. Mavropanos continued his run, allowing the option. Mavropanos getting a bit tangled there, but he does well. Keeps the possession, and then he's crowded out. Loses the possession and gives away a free kick. Well, Arsenal do know how to score goals. And they know how to score big goals and create big score lines. They've won by 5 goals or more 3 times this season. 2 5-0 wins and a 6-0 win. 6-0 win coming in the Champions League against Lens at home. The 2 5-0s coming at home against Crystal Palace and against Sheffield United. Be their biggest away win of the season, no doubt. They want to add to that 4-goal lead that they have at the moment. Speaking of adding to their lead, in the Women's FA Cup, Liverpool have doubled their lead against London City Lionesses. In that one, there are 2 goals to the good. Melissa Lawley with the second goal to give Liverpool a 2-goal lead. Here's Saka. Arsenal bursting down the left here with Kivior, but Blocked off eventually there, but keeps the possession, does Trossard. Rice. Odegaard. Here comes Saka, works the angle, finds the finish. Again, no match. Our West Ham defensively running rings around them are Arsenal and turning them inside out. I talked about their big wins this season. Well, this will be undoubtedly a statement victory in their run against their title rivals. And Bukayo Saka, fantastic. Good run again. Cuts the end. I mean, it's criminal from West Ham again. I mean, one of the first things that's being told, never allow Bukayo Saka to cut inside. And he's cut inside far too easily. Aguerd allows him the space. And Saka with a lovely finish. No chance for Areola. No chance for West Ham. And it took 18 minutes. But Arsenal have extended their lead again. West Ham 0, Arsenal 5. And Bukayo Saka has double figures in the Premier League. 10 Premier League goals this season. And Arsenal have scored 5 this afternoon. 5-0. We talked about their celebrations last week in that big win over Liverpool. How they were over the top. Well, I mean, how will they react to this? Hello? I think David Moyes, I don't think anybody would want to be within 100 metres of David Moyes at full time. Well, history is not going to repeat itself. I mentioned the last time Arsenal were 4-0 up at half-time in the Premier League. They went on to draw that game 4-4, but that's not going to happen now. They've only just added to their lead so far in the second half, and West Ham, again, not causing much of a threat. As I said, still yet to get that shot on target with just their 3 shots all afternoon. But it's Arsenal that are running riot at the London Stadium. And here comes Saka again. He's on a hat-trick now, Saka, remember. Scored the penalty in the first half, scored in the second half. Here comes Ben White, cuts it back. Oh, Odegaard got confused. Rice! What a finish! Some goal by Declan Rice. Does not celebrate against his old club, but he is absolutely fired a screamer into the back of the net. Incredible from Declan Rice. Odegaard and Trossard getting confused as to who wanted it. Rice made sure that it wasn't going to be an opportunity wasted. And Declan Rice with an emphatic finish to extend Arsenal's lead even further. Good build-up play again. Ben White cuts it back. Trossard and Odegaard get confused as to who wants it. Neither take it. It rolls its way out to an on-run, and Declan Rice, who connects with it beautifully with his right foot, curls it into the left side net. Fantastic finish. The former West Ham captain. Well, his old side have haunted him in the last 2 meetings. Well, he's back to haunt his old side now. The 5th goal scorer of the afternoon. And it's the man formerly of this parish, Declan Rice. We're running out of room to write down the players on the team sheet. 6-0. They're on course for their biggest win of the season. As I mentioned, it was 6-0. Home against Lens. And that goal is his last action for Declan Rice. Arsenal ringing out the changes. I think Mikel Arteta will concede that. I think Arsenal are going to get the 3 points here. Just slightly. And they're going to make a triple change, I think it is, for Arsenal. I'll confirm those changes for you now. Save a couple of legs. Just to confirm those changes then for you in a moment. Once I have confirmation of those. I do know Declan Rice has left the pitch. That is for sure. Well, West Ham nowhere near it today. Far too slow, far too lax, far too everything. There's nothing from West Ham today, and it's been pretty much impeccable for Arsenal. And we're still only 3/4 of the way through. Still another quarter of the game to go. Confirmation of those changes: Rice, Trossard, and Saka going off. El Neni, Nketiah, and Nelson, the substitutions. So Saka won't get his hat trick. And Nketiah coming on in his place. El Neni as well, joining the party, and Reiss Nelson as well. It really is a party for Arsenal at the moment. They've been not tested whatsoever, and they've just been miles above any sort of West Ham energy today. They've just not been anywhere near at West Ham, and Arsenal pretty much perfect, as close to perfect as you can probably get. (6-0). We could be reaching, Premier League record territory here. I'm not going to get carried away, but with 22 minutes, Arsenal have scored 2 goals in the second half in the space of 2 minutes, so Premier League record territory could be on the cards. I wouldn't want to go that far just yet, but who knows. Ødegaard just misplaced the pass there. Fired away by West Ham. They made the run again. Bowen, this time, is deemed to have been fouled by Gabriel. He's been not happy with that all day. He's felt he's been getting those challenges given against him all afternoon, but he finally gets one going his way, Jared Bowen. And they have a free kick, West Ham, to really take the pressure off their defence. Well, didn't I mention? I mentioned it in my pre-match. I said Arsenal could go back to second above Man City today, but they'd need to score more than 6 goals. Well, it was a tongue-in-cheek kind of comment, but they actually can do it. I didn't think it was even possible, but it's not possible until it's possible. It's just an issue here. Man gone down. But they can. If they score another goal, Arsenal, they win by 7 goals, seven clear goals, they will go above Man City in the table on goal difference. And they'll certainly be back in the conversation of the top goal scorers in the league. They were in the 40s, 47 goals. Now that's the lowest of the top 5 going into the game, Arsenal, but they've rectified that and have pushed themselves up into 3rd in that goal scoring charts, with Man City and Liverpool superior, 56 and 55 respectively. Arsenal on 53 goals this season. And West Ham had thought they got a corner, but the free kick was pulled back for a free kick to Arsenal. Right, we'll keep a very close eye on the last 20 minutes, because it could be getting even more embarrassing than what it already is for West Ham in the late stages here. We will see if that does happen. James Ward-Prowse has bad memories of big defeats at home. Lost 9-0 when he was at Southampton. That created that Premier League record. And Leicester beat them 9-0. Oh, here comes El Neni! Shot from distance, but into the hands of Areola. Team news from Villa Park. Kick-off between Aston Villa and Manchester United at 4:30 this afternoon. The teams are as follows. Unai Emery starts with Emi Martinez in goal. Matty Cash, Diego Carlos, Clement Longley and Alex Moreno in defence. Kamara and Douglas Luiz make up midfield alongside Jacob Ramsey, John McGinn, Leon Bailey and Ollie Watkins. So I think there's just a one change from that game in midweek, where they lost in the Cup to Chelsea. Manchester United have Onana in goal. Back four of Dalot, Maguire, Varane and Shaw. Of course, no Martinez after that injury in his last game. Casemiro and Mainu in midfield. Fernandes in attacking role, with a front three of Garnacho, Rashford and Højlund. for Manchester United. Yeah, no Martinez involved for Manchester United whatsoever this afternoon, and Villa still without their long-term injury issues. It's Tielemans is the only change from that Villa team that lost in midweek to Chelsea in the Cup. That Cup replay, 3-1 defeat for Villa, back-to-back home defeats, having previously been unbeaten for almost a year at home. They came unstuck by Newcastle and then by Chelsea. Back-to-back midweek affairs. Either side of that, a convincing victory away at Sheffield United, 5-0. They'll want a similar result this afternoon to avoid 3 successive home defeats. Manchester United, their opponents, kick off at 4:30. Updates from our other games this afternoon. Toulouse thought they'd got a goal back against Nantes, but that goal was disallowed. And Dundee have got back into the game from the penalty spot. Luke McKeon with the goal to get Dundee back on level terms against St Johnstone, 1-1 in the Scottish Premiership. The only Scottish Premiership game this weekend. That one. Of course, it's Scottish Cup weekend. Celtic in action. Celtic winning by 2-0 away at St Mirren. Here's Martinelli. Finds Eddie Nketiah. Strikes at it again, but again Areola behind it. Areola trying his best to stave off any conversation of possible records. But Arsenal certainly not wanting to give up just yet. There's a free kick here for Arsenal. So they'll come again. Haven't had to change the scoreline this much in a while. Talked about how one-sided it's been. I mean, it's pretty much a joke as to how one-sided it's been. It's incredible. And we've seen a couple of these huge scorelines in the last few years. It's coming much more common in the Premier League. See if Arsenal can add to their 6-goal lead. Odegaard with a free kick. Deep to the back post. A bit loose that one, and Mavropanos can head it clear, but great from Martinelli, who will get another free kick. 15 minutes to go. West Ham 0, Arsenal 6. And Martinelli down on the floor, and a yellow card has been brandished here as well for Mohamed Kudus. I'm going to make another change. I think West Ham, I saw Aaron Cresswell ready to enter the fray a moment or two ago, having a chat with David Moyes on the sidelines. They are going to make that change. Cresswell is coming on, and Emerson the man to make way. So Emerson off and Aaron Cresswell on. And Kudus as well. Confirmation of that yellow card for Mohamed Kudus, his 4th of the season. So, free kick for Arsenal. On the left-hand side. The first one wasn't the best from Odegaard. He's not going to take this one. Is that Nketiah? It's not Nketiah, is it? No, it's not. Can't see the number on the shirt, but they're going to make another double change, Arsenal. So, ready to make some more changes. It looks Cedric will be one of those changes. He's going to come on for Ben White. So they're going to delay this free kick for a moment. So Ben White coming off. He's going to be replaced by Cedric. And then Ethan Nwaneri, the youngest top-flight player in history. And of course Arsenal's youngest ever player to play in the Premier League at 15 years of age. That was last year, but he is 16 now, 17 in March, and he's coming on for the moment. So another double change there. Cedric and Nwaneri on to the pitch for Arsenal. That's all their 5 changes made. They still look pretty strong. Whistle goes from Craig Paulson. Free kick ready to be taken. Right footed delivery. Flicked on against West Ham there. But Ben Johnson gets in the way and we'll get a free kick here from Nwaneri there. Bit over exuberant in his challenge. Declan Rice having a joyous chat on the sideline, on the bench there. It's been an impeccable day for Arsenal. A day certainly for them to remember. Definitely one that West Ham fans and West Ham players will want to forget pretty quickly. Their winless run in 2024 will continue, West Ham, of course. Talked about the fact that they've struggled to win. They won their last 2 games of 2023, again, big wins against Man United and Arsenal, and keeping clean sheets in both of those games, but then have failed to win any of their games in 2024. Home draw, 0-0 draw against Brighton. Drew against Bristol City in the first FA Cup game of the new year in the 3rd round. Then lost the replay away at Bristol City by a goal to 0. Then drew away at Sheffield United after both having a player sent off at 2-2. Then drawing at home against Bournemouth the week after. And then losing last week to Manchester United at Old Trafford. So their last 2 wins were big wins against West Ham and Arsenal, or Man United and Arsenal, sorry. And their 2 latest results will be 2 huge defeats to Arsenal and Manchester United. 9 goals conceded without scoring. Definitely 6 or 7 days for West Ham to forget. Odegaard. Arsenal just trying to add to that. Maybe just trying to manage the game now. I think calls of Premier League records were a bit excitable and a bit kind of premature, but you never know. I think crazier things happen. I have to say, a lot of clubs, a lot of fans would have been at home by now, but this stadium still has quite a number of West Ham fans in it, considering the scoreline, which is credit to them. I mean, they're putting themselves through torture, but it's their loyalty to their club. Win, lose or draw, they're always here supporting. I mean, I don't know what they have to support this afternoon. It's been pretty lackluster. Nwaneri trying to work it in the box to Eddie Nketiah, but not on the same page there. Well, I have to say, their big defeat. They've had big defeats. I mean, considering this will be 4 of their last 5 defeats where they've conceded more than 3 or more goals. 3-0 to Manchester United, 5-1 to Liverpool back at the end of last year in the League Cup, and then before that in the Premier League against Fulham, where they lost 5-0 away. I mean, one of those ones where West Ham either win or draw the game, or they lose absolutely kind of convincingly indeed. The only defeat where they didn't lose convincingly was that Bristol City game, but they were nowhere near it on that night either. It just seems to be every now and again West Ham just don't show up in games, and that's what lets them down, and they completely collapse. And I mean, I don't know if there's any side that's probably Sheffield United in terms of how many games you've had where you've conceded so many goals in a single game. Here they come, trying to get a consolation. Arsenal working ever hard to try and get the clean sheets, but a shot from Bowen takes a deflection corner. That's really good from Arsenal. all high-fiving each other there in their attempts to keep a clean sheet, and so far they've been pretty much successful. I mean, they haven't had much to come up against, to be fair, in terms of the fact that, as I mentioned, West Ham yet to have a shot on target. Their clean sheet hasn't been tested as of yet. Maybe West Ham can take maybe just the slightest of smiles off the faces, especially of the Arsenal defenders today, who want to do their job and keep a clean sheet. But here comes the corner, left-footed delivery, deep one, tame one, pointless. David Raya comes and collects pretty easily. Now they come on the break. Here's Nwaneri using his pace, getting forward. He's clattered into there by Calvin Phillips, and that's a free kick to Arsenal in an attacking area. So another free kick going the Gunners' way. 7 minutes plus additional time to go, and I mean the result is a formality now. It's just whether it will get any worse for West Ham or not. And remember, of course, don't forget, later this afternoon, around about 45 minutes time, kick-off from Villa Park, where Aston Villa welcome Manchester United. I think they get back on winning ways at home. Aston Villa, after losing their last two at home. Man United, probably the best time to play Aston Villa after that win against West Ham last week, looking to bounce to kind of continue their good form with Manchester United. Kick-off is at 4:30. I mean, anything similar to this for Manchester United would be an absolute dream away at Villa Park. But Villa have a lot to prove, and no better time to prove that you're still a top side and a very good Premier League side, and a side capable and worthy of a top 4 place, than against Manchester United, who themselves are in pretty good form and pushing back towards those European places. Aston Villa will be hoping if they can get back to winning ways this afternoon. David Moyes, I mean, I wouldn't even want to know what he's going to say. And I mean, all ears to his post-match interview and his post-match press conference, because I'm sure there'll be pretty scathing words for his players. I mean, naive would probably be one of the main ones. I mean, just haven't shown up today, West Ham. And I mean, whatever that is, high, I don't know. I mean, they've such good players, and on paper this was set up to be a pretty good contest, but I mean, it's been a non-contest since the first minute. West Ham have been absolutely nowhere near any sort of level to compete, and Arsenal have just been, you know, on a different planet really from West Ham. No match really. And Arsenal just managing the game now, trying to eke the clock out as much as possible. 25 shots, 12 on target for Arsenal, sorry. 70% possession, 3.66 XG. So they're dominant, would be an understatement. They're the only team that's shown up today. West Ham did actually get their illustrious shot on target, by the way. They did have a shot on target. Just the one, with their 5 shots. Wouldn't say it was an improvement from the first half, but I mean, anything would be an improvement from the first half for West Ham, but wouldn't call it an improvement, wouldn't go that far. Another free kick here. Mavropanos, the man, has been not been able to get into the game either. I mean, that changed for Kurt Zouma at half-time, trying to change the game and make them more solid defensively, but Mavropanos really just hasn't been able to get to the level either. It's just been one of those days for West Ham where they just haven't been good enough anywhere on the pitch, in attack or in defence. And Arsenal have another set piece. Another free kick for West Ham to defend. Right-footed delivery into the box again. It's all the way through. Did take a flick on, but No further threat, and West Ham will win the throw-in on the far side. Don't forget, of course, the Super Bowl 58 from Las Vegas. San Francisco 49ers against the Kansas City Chiefs tonight, 11:30 on LFS. Looking forward to that one later this evening. Always love the Super Bowl. One of the big events of the year. You always tune into. This one's certainly a headline writer, a repeat of Super Bowl 54. The Chiefs looking to do back-to-back Super Bowl wins since the first team since the Patriots in the early 2000s. San Francisco Niners want revenge from losing that Super Bowl a few years ago. Same coaches, Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid. Shanahan wants revenge. We'll find out tonight if he can get revenge. 11:30. 92 minutes to go or so of the 90 minutes at the London Stadium. West Ham 0, Arsenal 6. And I mean, I run you through the stats there, but just looking at them, I mean, it's awful from West Ham. Probably undoubtedly one of their worst performances of the season. No doubts about that. It'll be Arsenal's joint biggest win of the season, of course, equaling that 6-0 win against Lens in the Champions League earlier this campaign. That was at the Emirates. All three of their big wins have actually come at the Emirates. 2 5-0s and 1 6-0. Yet to show up this scoreline away from home. And the last time they did win 6-0 away from home was back in 2009. So a long time ago, 15 years ago, but this will be one to remember. Certainly this afternoon. And if they go on to win the Premier League title, which, I mean, that's a long way away yet, still another 14 games to go, but, you know, if they do end up getting their hands on that trophy at the end of the season, this will be one of those statement victories in a title race that everyone will remember. And everyone will go back to of, you know, having to build on that big victory against Liverpool. They have done that emphatically this afternoon. Incredibly so. Wanting to add to this, here's Nketiah on the left flank. Oh, another late challenge. It's Phillips this time. And it's going to be another free kick to Arsenal, another yellow card. And it's Phillips in the book for that late challenge. And we've just hit the additional time, so we will have 3 added minutes at the end of the second half. So pretty short. A pretty short bit of additional time in this second half, which will be perfect for West Ham. Can't wait for this game to be over, I'm sure. We'll talk about what's coming up next for these two teams in a second after this free kick. I'll run you through as well of all the scorelines from our other games we're keeping an eye on this afternoon as well, just before we leave you. Right-footed delivery from the free kick, pretty low. Easily cleared away by Ward-Prowse. Next up for Arsenal, well, they're no midweek action. Of course, the Champions League is back this midweek, but Arsenal not in action until next midweek, and they are away to Burnley next Saturday at 3 o'clock. Away to Burnley in the Premier League before they head to Porto. So on the road again between their next two games. Arsenal, West Ham, well, their next game is of course next Saturday. And they're also on their travels. They head to Nottingham Forest to the City Ground before back to home against Brentford in a few weeks' time. So a lot of time for David Moyes to get his side on the training ground and hammer out any sort of whatever has happened today, analyse this and learn from it. I don't know what you can take from this, but one thing you can take is that West Ham have nowhere near the level of Arsenal whatsoever this afternoon. That is without doubt. But here they come again, Arsenal. Havertz trying to get involved in the action. Nwaneri. There was a push in the back there by Eddie Nketiah on a West Ham player, and a free kick will go the Hammers' way. And they get themselves forward. A consolation would be, I mean, it means absolutely nothing, but it would mean that Arsenal wouldn't get a clean sheet, which is something they take a lot of pride in. They get another free kick here, West Ham. Mavropanos, this time fouled by Nketiah again. Wants to avoid the yellow card. Does avoid the yellow card from Craig Pawson. Does Eddie Nketiah. Mavropanos with a free kick. Head up to the front by Bowen. Bowen battling to keep the ball, but it's only a matter of time now. It's last few seconds. Aaron Cresswell has the final touch of a game that West Ham will want to forget. The final whistle goes. David Moyes surely left red-faced. Arsenal on a different planet this afternoon. 4-0 up at half-time. 2 very good goals in the second half to cap it all off. It's been an unbelievable result for Arsenal. Emphatic victory away at their London rivals, who looked, before kick-off, quite realistically, to do the double over Arsenal. But in the end, it is Arsenal who put West Ham to the sword pretty emphatically. Both centre-backs on the score sheet. Bukayo Saka with a brace. And a fantastic Leandro Trossard with a good finish. And a incredible strike by Declan Rice, the former West Ham captain, getting on the score sheet. And Arsenal 6-0 winners against West Ham. Their joint biggest win of the season. And David Moyes, I mean, the whole of West Ham shell-shocked by this defeat. Arsenal jubilant with this result. No kind of signs of over-celebrating this week, but certainly cause for that. They're back in the mix. They just don't quite go over Man City. They level on goal difference, but Man City still above them on goals scored. But they're back in the mix of the top 2 and involved in this title race, most certainly. Final score from the London Stadium: West Ham United 0, Arsenal 6.